Okay. Okay, let's try again. All right. So, apologies for the delay here. Uh, been It's been kind of going on and off here. Maybe I should do something about the interwebs. So, maybe I'm gonna need to adjust some settings and whatnot. So I'll figure that out on my end. In any case, hello everybody. Thank you for coming out here today. I want to thank all of you again. We're here for Math 112 for college algebra. So let me go ahead and get started here. Okay, let's go ahead and get started here for today. Welcome back to the very first day of the semester. All right. So today we are going to be going over said syllabus and any and all of the information that you're going to need to know here for this class. And we'll also talk about a few other things as well. And we may actually get into a lesson here as well, so we can get off on a good foot and get started. All right. So let's go ahead and go to D2L here. Now, if you're not sure how to get to D2L, you just type distancelearning.elgin.edu. Okay, you'll get to this page right here, and you just type in your username and password here. All right, and once you go ahead and do that, you will have the list of your D2L classes, which will be this one right here, Math 112, 201, so on and so forth. So you can be taken directly to this page that you see here. All right. Um, Now, really quick here, oftentimes because there's a delay in the stream and whatnot, I will often pause here and I will usually ask if you have any questions. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I have no problem with that whatsoever. All right. Otherwise, I would like you guys to say no in the chat so that way I know when I need to move on to the next topic. Um, so I want to ask really quick here again. Does anybody have any questions before we just formally get started? Okay. Now again, I'll be acknowledging some of your questions here today, so don't worry. Some of the questions that you're going to get will be acknowledged. All right, so in terms of online stuff and all that jazz, I will be talking about that and going over some of those things. All right. Um, so that's me. My name is Ali Malik. You could just call me Ali. You don't even have to call me Professor. I'm just like a dude. I'm just a guy. So you just call me Ali. That's fine, or Professor Chibs, or whatever. I don't really care. Everything is going to be done online for this semester. All right. So that's fine. This is my phone number here. All right. So you can text in case of the emergency. In case if you have an emergency of some kind and you need to contact me right away, um, then you can go ahead and do that there. And my email here is amalik@elgin.edu. That's the preferable way to kind of contact me. But another way to contact me besides email is through the discussion board, which I'll talk about later here via D2L. You got a black screen. Does anybody else have a black screen, or is it coming in just fine? Okay. All right, that's good. Whew, all right. Worried about my stream. You're like, oh man, holy moly. All right. Okay. Um, let's talk about several of the things. Okay. All right. Several of the things about the class. Now, obviously, we're here on Twitch. All right. So we will be meeting here from 4 o'clock to 5:50 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Okay. So that's going to be our time to do, our things here in class. Now, typically what we're going to be doing is we'll probably be doing, say, 2 sections a day since we're running for an hour and 50 minutes. I'm not sure if we'll run the full time. We'll probably will because we'll probably have to stop and start quite a bit since it is online and we have a little bit of a delay here. So, but I do want to give you time to ask me plenty of questions because I want everybody to be on the same page. Now, the way it works here is that, let's talk about, you know, uh, say missing class, for example. That tends to be the first question there. If you miss class for whatever reason, that's okay. That's not a big deal. I will be posting I'll be posting the same live stream on YouTube 24 hours after this live stream ends, and that's per Twitch's guidelines. So, per Twitch's guidelines, I'll be uploading that to my YouTube channel. And the reason I will do that specifically is because then there's going to be a permanent home for the live stream, whereas you can watch the replay here on Twitch. All right, that is certainly possible. You can definitely watch the replay here on Twitch, but it only will be for 14 days from the end of the broadcast. And after 14 days, Twitch will automatically delete that VOD. So I want to put it as a permanent home onto my YouTube channel so you can reference back to it if you need to, a month or two down the line and be like, oh yeah, we did talk about that here and blah, 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 blah. And then you got some reference to go back to. Okay, so again, you don't have to go and sub to my YouTube channel. I'm not going to tell you to like, comment, and subscribe, and do all that nonsense. It's there just as kind of a archive. But if you need to go back, then hey, that's cool. I got no problem with this. All right, so that's perfectly fine. Are there any questions here so far? Good beans. Not at the moment, yeah. All right, let's go ahead and go over the syllabus here. Now, if you want to find the syllabus and read it over here, I'm going to go ahead and click on content here at the top. And once you click on content here, that very first thing after getting started will say syllabus. So there you can see the new syllabus here for Math 112, our class. We'll go ahead and you can go ahead and click on that and it'll open up a document. I have the document here, so I'm just going to open up the original one here so we can read it over here together. Okay, I'll make this a bit bigger because I'm pretty sure this is a little blurry on the screen here, so we'll make it a bit nicer to see. Okay, there we go. All right. So there you see all my information. Again, it's a 4 credit hour class, 4 to 550. Let's talk about the next part here, which is office hours. Now, obviously, we'll talk about the discussion board later, but you can, of course, contact me via email, say, hey, I got questions, about such and such topic or such and such homework. Hey, that's perfectly fine. Not a problem. You can contact me via email. And I'll also be here on Twitch from 12:30 to 3 o'clock. So before this class starts on Tuesdays and Thursdays, just feel free to email me or put it in the discussion board that, hey, I want to see you during office hours, and I'll turn on Twitch and we can talk through the platform here, so we can get you situated and get your questions answered. So want to be sure that you got that taken care of as well. All right. So 12:30 to 3 Tuesdays and Thursdays. Okay, let's talk about the textbook. Okay, so what does the textbook look like? Well, this is the hardcover copy that I'm going to show you on camera. This is kind of like the one they give me for free just to teach the course and stuff. So it's like, yeah, look at it. Yeah, look at that. It's a big chili pepper that you probably find on like Rate My Professor or something. So yeah, that's the book there. Now, Um, let's be, you know, is the book going to be helpful? Yeah, I would say the book will be helpful to some degree. I won't deny that whatsoever. Um, I'll be doing some examples here from the textbook. So if you have a textbook there, I do recommend it here for this class. That's something that you do want to have here for the course. So I don't know how much it is, but yeah, since I'll be doing examples out of the book, and it actually, surprisingly enough, it does do a pretty good job of being a good reference material. I recommend that you actually get the textbook here for this class. Normally I wouldn't, but considering we're using a different computer system compared to my math lab, then things are going to be a little bit different. So that's why I'm just kind of pointing that out here in this instance. Okay. As for the calculator, a TI-8384 calculator is required here for this course. All right, as we're going to be doing a lot of different things here with said Mr. the calculator. Okay, so a lot of that stuff there is going to require the calculator in some form or fashion, and we'll see exactly how things go as time moves along. All right. Okay. Uh, are there any questions before I move forward? Okay. Good. Good stuff. All right. Next is the course description, and the course description describes the course. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, it totally describes the course. Holy cow! Now, if you could read that on your own, and it's pretty great. That's a thing. All right, let's move on with our lives. Do I recommend getting the book? Yes, yes, I do. For this class, yes, I do recommend getting the book. Yes, I'm gonna address that here momentarily. A calculator is a must. Yes, you will need a graphing calculator for this course. Yes. How often will we use the book? Well, I'll use the book pretty much every class to do examples and whatnot. Again, some of the reference material inside the book is very helpful and very well organized, and I think it'll be a boon for you in this class. To help you with some of the problems here that you'll be doing. So I I will just want to point that out there so that way it's not like, oh yeah, you're just BSing me. Like, nah. Normally I would actually recommend against the textbook, but since we're not using my math lab here in this particular instance, that's why I'm opting to say to go with the textbook here in this case. So you have that extra reference material. So I just wanted to point that out there in this case. All right, so preferably, I know I'm the kind of guy who would like to save you money here, but I also got to be realistic and say, okay, what's going to give you the best chance for success in the class? Well, I've thought it over, and I'm like, well, yeah, having the book, having the book because you have a different computer system is going to be a lot easier for you in the long run. So um, it's going to be, it's a lot easier that way, in my opinion. Are there any other questions before I move forward? No. Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and move forward here. All right. So let's talk about how homework will work here in terms of points. So homework will be posted on Alex. All right. Homework will be worth 5 points for every section and will be due the day of the corresponding test. Okay, so basically, if I announce the test over, chapters 1 and 2, then all the sections from chapters 1 and 2 will be due on that day of that exam. Now, I will announce the exam here. Specifically, I'll announce the exam usually a week ahead of time, and then I'll set the due date here for the exam. So everything on Alex right now is just purely tentative dates for the most part, but I do want to point out here that, yeah, this is just kind of like saying, all right, it may be on this day. So um, that that can certainly occur. Uh, uh, is my audio bad? I hope not. Thought my audio was pretty okay. So, yes, we do have a class code for Alex. Yes, that is correct. I'll go ahead and show that off here as well. Once I kind of go through a little bit more about this. But it is, yes, we indeed have a class code. I'll show you exactly where to find that. All right, the Banes. Okay. All right, so the way it's going to work here, every section in Alex is going to be worth 5 points. So whatever you got in terms of a percentage, I'm going to give you exactly that amount of 5 points. So if you say you do an assignment, because some sections could have 10 questions, some sections could have 15 questions. Let's say you did 50% of one assignment. I'm going to give you 50% of 5 points on that assignment, or 2.5 points. So what you put out is what you get here in terms of correctness. All right, and just getting that going there is really what it's about. I may end up changing some of the settings here for the homework, so I'm pretty sure I gave unlimited attempts, but if I didn't, I'll go back and check that one more time. I thought I did, though, because I literally went through every homework assignment one by one. So but I want to give you kind of unlimited attempts. I don't want to give you oh yeah, you get one attempt and you get it wrong and yeah, that's it, you're done. Now I'd rather, again, we're here in this class about learning. We're not here to talk about penalizing you because you accidentally punched in a number wrong or had the wrong formatting. I think that's ridiculous. So yeah. Every assignment will be due worth 5 points, and late homework won't be accepted. Like I said, the homework will be there until the day of the exam. So homework will be worth a total of 175 points. We will have 5 exams here in class. All of those will also be online. All right, again, 100 points each, and so you get 500 points there. And then finally, the final exam, which will be due the last week of class here on Thursday, December 17th, so the final day of class. That'll be worth 200 points, and pretty straightforward there. Now, there are some practice exams as well, so that'll give you a pretty good idea about how to conduct yourself during the test. So, okay. Thank you. Hang on a sec. Don't know why it decided to boot me. Okay, there we go. That was weird. Okay. So I work off a basic system. It's fairly straightforward. Again, the midterm date is the 20th. Last day to withdraw is the 8th of November. Are all the tests on Alex as well? Yes, they're going to be on Alex. That is correct. Yes. And like I said, I'll post those as soon as they're available when I make that announcement. So basically, I'm basically kind of holding back a little bit in terms of when they're going to be released to you. So I just want to kind of point that out there. Are there any other questions here before we move forward here? Do we only have one attempt? I may actually make it like a couple of attempts. I have to take a look. Yeah, I'm still kind of debating about that. I have no. Let's see. One attempt is kind of bad, so I don't really like one attempt. Yeah, one attempt is kind of like bleh. Because I mean, if you mess up, like the worst part is like you mess up, like some formatting stuff, and it marks you wrong. I think that's stupid. So if I give you two attempts, it'll be like, oh, all right, I saw it before. Now I know how to fix it. All right, now I can get a better grade because of nonsense. I'd be like, okay, that's fair. You know, that's a fair go. So I'm sensitive to that cause because I think you guys have been through enough in terms of, man, that's BS. How does the computer tell me wrong when I enter in the same number? You know, just just ridiculous. Absolutely nonsense. I've been there before. It's a terrible feeling, and you would hate your life, for a long time. So, um, yeah, there's that. And I'll talk about how we can do tests and stuff. So that's fine. We'll figure that stuff out there. Hey, look, I've been through the gauntlet and back, so I know how it feels to be, crapped on when you don't deserve to get crapped on. So yeah, it is kind of a getting used to thing with Alex. So please be patient with the system. It is not super flexible as my math lab. I will admit that. So that can be a bit of an issue. All right. Once I make those changes to the test there, I'm going to go ahead and describe the details about how to take the test. It may require the lockdown browser or whatever, so we'll see how that goes. I'll figure it out. I'll probably be like, okay, use some kind of webcam, do the work, blah, 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 blah. Things happen. Test happens. Great happens. Yeah. All right. Um, All right, so let's go ahead and talk about attendance. So, attendance, as you know here, we're an online class, and you know what? I said this in my first two classes. So I'm gonna say this again. So let's do this. Let's do this. I'm gonna just answer yes or no here, really quick, everybody. Do you consider yourself an adult? Yes or no? Well, Jenna, I'm gonna have to send you to your other room. Yeah. Same with you, drivers. I have to send you to your room as well. I'm afraid that the troll factory has come around. Come on now, first day of class, you acting a troll. Be like, yeah, I'm gonna call you out on that nonsense. I've got a problem with that though. All right, it's all good. All right, so for me, in all seriousness, for me, all of you are adults. All of you are responsible for yourselves. At the end of the day, you are the ones that are going to put in the work because you are the ones that want to be successful. You know, um, I understand that there's a relationship here in a class. And they say, well, a teacher's up here and a student is down here. That sort of thing. Now, I could care less about that. All right. What I actually care about is that we're on the equal. All right. If we're equals, that's the way I'm going to treat you, like an adult, as we're equals, because that to me is a heck of a lot easier to do than treating you like a kid. All right. So I don't care if you come for attendance. I know that life happens and that you can't come all the time. People have jobs, people have lives, people have other things to do sometimes. Sometimes that's just going to happen. And, I've got to, I totally understand that. Even in an online setting, I know you've reserved this time to come here, but sometimes that's just not the case. Sometimes crazy stuff happens, but the one thing I have the expectation for you to do at the end of the day is for you to put in the work, time, and effort in order for you to be successful. Don't forget what the goal of this class. Don't forget what the goal of this class is going to be. I have two goals in mind for this class. My first goal is what I have for every class, and that is if you walk out of here knowing a little bit more than what you walked in with, then I did my job, and I'll be very happy about that. That's my first goal. But what's my second goal? What's my second goal for you guys in this class? My second goal for you guys in this class is remembering that Math 112 is a college level course. It counts for college credit. And because of that fact, remember that's one step toward what you want at the end of the day. You want independence. You want to be able to earn whatever you want to do, what you want to do, and you want to be able to earn that on your own. And this is a stepping stone to make it up there. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you first day. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys. I understand that some of the stuff I'm going to be teaching you in this class will never be relevant for what you're going to be doing. I get it. Okay? I have to do it anyway because that's just the thing. All right? I got to meet the objectives and whatever. All right? I get that. But if it helps somewhere down the line, if something helps somewhere down the line, we see the practical side of things, and it helps somewhere down the line, great. All right, great. It leads you to getting more experience and again, independently thinking for yourself. And that's the most important thing is that I would like you to be independent. I would like you to make your own decisions using logic and educated reasoning. That's the most important part. And if you could do that, trust me, being an adult is not that hard once you get past that point. And that is basically the definition of maturity, in my opinion. So, um, you know, you're always learning. Even me, I'm old. I'm an old fart, but even so, uh, I'm still learning even to this day. So, you still got to learn from your experiences. You still got to keep on pushing forward. And again, the more and more you do that, trust me, you're gonna reach that goal of independence, the thing that you want the most. So it'll be there. I can guarantee that. And I hope to make you successful in order to reach those goals at some point. So, that's what I'm here for. So, I understand that mathematics by itself is a pretty difficult subject. The struggle bus is real, you know, for math because it's so dry and it's so it can be difficult. It can be, I understand math is a pain in the ass. I totally get that. Complete pain in the ass. I struggled with math too. So it's not like I'm sitting here and saying, "Oh man, I know everything." Like, no, I don't. Trust me, I absolutely do not. I was humbled a long time ago, and yeah, I struggled a lot. I had a difficult time with math for quite a while until I slowly but surely started picking it up. It didn't come in this flash like, oh man, suddenly I just know math off the top of my head. Like, nah, it didn't come natural to me. So I've never gotten straight A's in my life. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, you know what, oh yeah, everything's super, super easy. All right. You got it. One first try, man, first try. You're like, oh, it's like bam, 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 bam. I got it. I got it. Like, oh no, 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 no. That's not how I roll. That is not how I roll. Hey, Flo, good to see you, buddy. Um, so that's I try and do my best to buy you, and trust me, I will be more than happy to help you out at any moment in time if you're willing to put in the work and the effort. We meet halfway. Hey man, I'm gonna sit there. I'll reach out my hand, and you say, "Hey," I'll grab that. I'll grab your hand and say, "Hey, I need help." I'll be like, "Hey, cool, man. I'll be happy to help you anytime." That's that's just how it is. But if you don't want to help yourself, well, then do understand one thing: nobody can help you. Okay, that's the reality of the situation. You're an adult. If nobody can help you, if you don't want to help yourself first. And then basically, I'm going to tell you, like, if you're not doing well and you're not putting time and the effort, he says, "I'm not doing so great," and I'm complaining, be like, "Well, I got 3 words of advice for you." I'm like, "It's not my problem." It's not my problem that you decide not to be responsible. So I want you to be responsible. I want you to do what you got to do in order to pass this class. We get through this 16 weeks and be like, "Yeah, get that, get that shit done." All right, are there any questions about that so far? You're like, you just went on a rant. You're like, "Yeah, I know. I know I did." No questions. All right. Let's go over the next part here. Um let's go over academic let's go over behavior expectations. You're supposed to behave. That'd be pretty great. Academic integrity. Um don't cheat. Yeah. All right, we'll move on. Uh, Course outline and schedule. So this is the tentative course outline. Okay, it's not a guarantee we're gonna get through. We're gonna actually follow this pace. We'll try our best to follow this pace as best as possible. But again, I'll just point out it's no guarantee that we'll actually get through this exactly as it's stated here in this particular instance. So we'll have that there. We're going to go over chapter one and whatnot. So we got that. Now, for because of this unusual semester and the way things work out, all right. Because of the unusual semester, tutoring is online for this semester because nobody can go onto campus due to coronavirus. So again, just be sure that you go to the Elgin website there and be sure to get more information about how online tutoring is going to work here for this following semester. I think they've set aside some special rules or whatever. So it's everything's kind of all up in the air because of the fact that the campus is closed for this following semester. So I'm just kind of pointing that out there. There's other stuff here. Disability accommodations. If you have a disability of any kind, please, feel free to privately email me regarding your disability. Trust me, in this class, you should not have a problem of me accommodating your disability. So, it's a thing. I've received emails from the ADS regarding students and stuff. But if you have one, just feel free to drop me a reminder. Be like, "Hey, I need this," and I'm like, "Okay, I'll make it happen, no problem." So, yeah, trust me, I'm not going to make your life miserable, and I have no desire to do so because that requires effort and energy. And effort and energy for my fat butt is not one of my things I do very well. Question mark. All right. So, all right. So that is the syllabus there. Yeah. Are there any questions about that? Any questions over the syllabus? No. All right. Just to let you know here, if you click on assignments on the top here on D12, there is a syllabus assignment. It'll take you all of 15 seconds to do. This syllabus assignment is worth a cheap and easy 5 points. All right, all you have to do is just type in a comment saying I've read and acknowledged the syllabus. So if you read it over and you type in that little comment box, okay, you get yourself a free 5 points. So yeah, it's fairly straightforward, super easy. All right, I guarantee ya, not too shabby crabby. All right, okay. I want to talk. I want to talk about a couple of other things as well. Um, Give me just a second here. Uh, yeah. Give me a second here. Send it to. Okay. There we go. There we are. All right. Sorry about that. So the next thing I want to talk about is the discussion board. This is also a place where you can also ask questions. So there are introductions. So if you want to make introductions, you can go ahead and just post in the board. All right. Share something about yourself. It's a good idea to sometimes bounce ideas off of other people, or sometimes you know something that another person doesn't, or vice versa. You can always help each other out. So it's a good way to kind of interact with each other. If you have questions about, again, getting access or getting started with Alex, we're going to talk about that here more today, of course. But if you're just having a trouble just getting started and stuff, then you have that there. Now, if you have questions about any of the topics here, this is a board for you. Math 112 questions. Go ahead and just type in a question. I'll respond within 24 hours. If I'm not available at that time, so I will check it every day, and I'll respond to your question here within 24 hours, and we'll see what we can do to figure things out. And then finally, we have the anything else board, which is off-topic discussions. So just keep your language clean and the images clean. All right, you can post whatever memes you want in there. All right, I don't really care. Just nothing political, please. I don't no politics, please. Just clean with language and images. But if you say memes or dreams, it'd be like, all right, cool. Let's just post a meme, and then yeah, I'm good with that. So there you go. All right. Hey, it's true. Memes are definitely dreams, okay? Absolutely 100% correct. You can put that in a meme, all right? Just saying. When you can inception a meme, you know you've hit the jackpot. Just saying. All right. Uh, okay. Now, let's go back to meme. Yeah, memes are life. Yes. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Okay. Uh, where would we be without memes in our life? I don't know. There was a time, way back when there were no memes and no viral videos. Okay, but that time has gone and passed. Now, memes have totally. We dreamed of memes, and then now they've come true. Uh, you don't like memes? Oh man, I know some people don't like memes. I understand that. But every time you need a little bit of a chuckle here and there, or somebody spitting straight straight coincidental facts, then it can be pretty interesting at times. Um, the Dark Ages. Oh, I can. I don't know how far back in the Dark Ages you want me to talk about. I still remember landline phones and caller ID being brand new. So yeah. Hey, when I when we were young, we had the record player and everything, and the cassette recorder, you know, and all that jazz. Yeah, the hamster dance. I remember that. Oh my god. Oh, I remember when that came out. Yeah, the Hamtaro hamster dance. Dee da dee da dee da doo doo. Yeah, is that I remember that. Okay, let's let's move on here. Now, I want you to take a look here on content here. So if I click on content here on the left, you'll notice that there's some units here. These are the units that we're going to be covering here for the course. This was not made by myself. This was made by the course coordinator. And again, this is kind of like a loose background here again of what we're going to be covering here for the week. So this has videos on it. It has some templates for notes here. I kind of modified the activities to completing the requirements. Getting the homework assignments done. Okay. What homework assignments you want to kind of get done. Now, you don't have to do the whole unit all at once, of course. Take your time, because again, the homework is due on the day of the test, so it's not due, say, every week. All right, so you got your pace and you got your timing. This isn't a race to the finish. This is about learning the material. And if it means that you go slower, it just means you go slower. That's about it. I don't really care about what your pace is. Okay, I don't need you to go fast from 0 to 60. I would like you to go at your own comfortable pace and be able to understand the material, at that pace. So, you know, this is about you, and it's not about me making things more convenient for myself. The link on there for the template says error. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I guess some of these links are dead. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about that too much. I just kind of copy pasted this. All right. So I kind of copy pasted this. So you can watch the videos. I think the videos are there. Yeah, so the videos are there. You can watch the videos from our course coordinator if you like. I don't mind. Otherwise, you could just watch, our video. So don't worry. Don't sweat over it if you don't see everything on here. Most of the times, uh, yeah, I kind of modified a bunch of stuff. So most of the time, you get the notes from me. Because I have a certain way of doing the notes here. And actually, speaking about that, I guess let me go ahead and clarify what I mean by that. All right, let's go here. Here we go. All right, so most of the time, if we were actually doing a face-to-face class here, okay, if we were doing an actual face-to-face class here, I would actually be giving you these handouts. Okay, so these handouts here are what we're going to be using here. Now, um, yeah, so these handouts here are basically talking about the major questions for every single section that we're going to be going over. So for example, here today we're going over, say, 1.1 says how do we plot points, how do we graph equations, x and y intercepts. So these are the major questions that we would talk about here in, say, section 1.1, and these would be the major questions 1.5. Okay, now we're not, I'm not sitting here and saying, how do you know that's 1.1.15? That's not a big deal. These are the main topics that we're going to be covering. And we'll be answering these questions here. So on a notebook, you can go ahead and, write these questions out and, write the respective answers for those questions. The a common criticism most people give me is, even if you were to print this out, there's not a lot of room sometimes between the questions. So you can print it out, but some people write super big, so it's like you run out of room like really quickly. So if you want to just write the question down, or again, you can always watch the replay again just to know what the question was. You got a lot of leeway and flexibility. So I don't mind. I'll be typing some of the answers in here anyway. So it'll look like a little jumbled mess at times, but I try and keep things as organized as possible. So we'll be certainly doing that. Are there questions about that there so far? What does number 9 say? Number 9 says, how do we solve quadratic equations by completing the square? Where do we access these again? This is currently on just my. This is currently just. I can make this bigger, by the way. Um, this is currently on just my computer for now. Um, actually, let me get feedback from you guys right away. Do you guys want me to upload these notes here? Again, even if you, like I said, please. Okay. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'll do that before the next class, okay? And I'll upload all my notes to another folder underneath the content menu, okay? So I can certainly do that, and I can certainly acquiesce to that. Not a problem. All right. I wasn't sure whether or not you guys wanted to print it out or not, because there's just not a ton of space for some questions. But if that's something you guys are definitely interested in, no problemo. We can certainly do. I can certainly do that, and I can get that done. So that's perfectly fine. Hey, I'm here to listen to you more than you're here to listen to me ramble on and sound like a old man. So there you go. Okay, so I'll put that up. You'll see that before. Is this how we're going to practice and take notes as a class? Yes. Yes, it will be. We'll be going over each of these handouts here, answering all the questions, and we'll be able to do examples with several of these. Again, we may take some time here, but again, we'll go at a nice pace here. Like I said, 2 sections a day. It's why you'll see typically on these handouts to be 2 sections for each handout. So, because we meet for like an hour and 50 minutes, so since it is kind of a long time, then we can get 2 sections done. Actually, that kind of leads. You can do either. Like I don't mind. You can do either. If you want to print it out because you're comfortable with that, cool, and then write stuff in, or if you want to write out in a notebook, and write stuff in, that's cool too. Whatever you want. You're not handing in these notes to me anyway. This is for your benefit and your reference. So yeah, I mean, I don't really care which way you do things. It is what it is. So I'll, remember, it's your benefit, not my benefit. So don't know, don't care, but just whatever is going to help you at the end of the day. All right. So I'll be posting these up probably tomorrow, just to let you know. So you'll probably see these handouts come out tomorrow. We may just end up doing one here today, just depending on how everything goes. But I did have a second question here, so I do actually. That's a good thing here. I know we meet for an hour and 50 minutes. Time usually flies by when it comes to a stream, but every class has a preference, so I want to defer to you guys in regards to that preference, and that is, we meet for an hour and 50 minutes. Would you like to take a break in between, or do you want me to say no break and we just kind of barrel through the material there? It's totally up to you guys. Break or no break, it's up to you guys. So I'll take the majority vote here, and then we'll just run with it. So we got 4 no break. So we got five. We got five for each. We got 5 no break, 5 break. 6, 6, 6, 7, 7. The break would be like 5 to 10 minutes. I mean, you can get up, do whatever you need to do. I would normally give you a break if we were doing a face-to-face class. It's. I'd normally give you a break face-to-face class where you get up, go to the restroom or whatever you need to do, grab a glass of water. Like I said, I don't care either way. I can power through. So we can decide to have breaks on some days and no breaks. Okay. Yeah, this is a really close vote, actually. I will say that. It's literally 8 to 8. Man, holy moly. Whew. Okay. So I kind of like that idea a little bit. I mean, it is a 50-50 proposition here. So, um so some days we take breaks and some days we take no breaks. Is that acceptable? Yeah. So how about every class I'll just ask in the middle to have a break or not, just depending on the content of the material. There will be some. I know for a fact there will be some content that will be pretty heavy. In which case, I'll just probably defer the question because it'll be like, man, this is pretty heavy on your brain. Be like, yeah, okay, take a break, take 5 minutes, get the hell out of my sight. You don't have to worry about that. Okay, so what we're going to do here today is because of the fact that uh, yeah, all right. So that's fair. I want to come to a reasonable compromise because it's kind of 50-50. Today we're not going to take a break, okay? Because we'll just power through some of the material here today, as it's just mostly introductions and getting the syllabus and stuff done. And we could just do section 1-1 here today. So we'll do just a section, and then it'll give you a pretty good idea, trying to get comfortable here with the kind of the formatting here for the class. So at least it'll give you a good idea. And then tomorrow you can take a look here back on the D2L, and you'll see the handouts I'll be posting online. There'll be some files there for you to download if you like. Okay. Okay, so also on the handouts here, by the way, there are these problems down here. These problems down here are not homework. These are just supplemental problems. So you'll see these on literally every handout. So you don't have to do problems 1 to 45. These are just for practice only if you want. Okay, so just letting you know about that. They are not required whatsoever. Just some helpful other things that can certainly be there. Okay. All right. So, any questions about the handouts here in this case? No. Okay. Can you see 8, 9? Sure. Sorry about that. I'll be coming back to this anyway, by the way, so don't worry. You'll see this again for sure. And once I post it up tomorrow, you'll have a copy of these questions. So, but if you want to see 8, 9, here they are. All right. Solving quadratic equations by the quadratic formula, and by completing the square there. So, taking a look at 2 ways to solve quadratic equations. That's going to be in 1.5. So, can I also upload the finished version after we solve each question? Actually, that's a good question. I actually don't have a finished version. It doesn't exist. And you're probably saying, why? Why is there no finished version? The reason why that there's no finished version is because everything I do in a lecture is all done on the fly. That's how I do my lectures. So everything is always by the seat of my pants / on the fly. The reason why I do that specifically, just to give you a little insight behind the method to the madness, is because it's a lot easier if I can adjust to you guys by being a little more flexible rather than putting, rigid stuff down for every single question. I have a general idea, but sometimes when you say something a certain way, it may work for your class compared to, say, another class. So it actually is a way for me to keep on my toes and at the same time help you because I can adjust to you guys understanding the material. That's actually why I actually intentionally leave it blank. I don't know if that makes sense, but for you guys, but yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. So again, I have a rhyme and a reason why I do certain things in class. But trust me, it's not always going to be for my convenience. Okay, it's more for, like I said before, this is about learning something new, and sometimes certain things gel and certain things don't. I want to be sure that all of you are on the same page in some form or capacity. That's very important. Okay. Are there any other questions that you guys have before I move forward? I'll be talking about Alex next, so. Okay, let's go ahead and go to talking about Alex and how that's going to work. Okay, so did it again. All right, it's very annoying when it logs you out on purpose. I swear this thing wants to not like me. All right, let's try it again. Hey. All right. So if we go to Alex, Alex here again. This is what my dashboard looks like here for Alex. So I'm going to go ahead and drag it over here. Your dashboard may look a little bit different, but you can go to assignments here. There will be a assignments tab here for you. You go ahead and go to assignments, and then I can enter our class here, which is Math 112, Fall of 2020. All right, and then it has like a printout for me and all that jazz. Now, the one thing I want to kind of bring your attention to here is the class code. All right, so here's the class code on here, but I'm going to go over to D2L because I actually did put it on D2L here for your reference. So if you look on the front of the page here on the announcements, right here is the class code or course ID for Alex. You will need to purchase the code from Alex, first of all, and then you can enter in this course ID and you will be linked to the course there for the homework assignments. Okay, so um, please again follow the directions there. I put a link to Alex here in the announcements, so if you forget, you could just go ahead and click on that. You'll have to make an account, pay for the access code, and then put in the course ID here that they have that I put here in the announcements. So that way it's easy to find. Okay. Is there a way to purchase the Alex code with financial aid? Uh, I that's a great question. Um, that is a great question. That is actually something I don't know off the top of my head, though I think the best way to do that, Yeah, I think the best way to do that is just purchase the. Yeah, it's not the Pearson code. So that is not the Pearson code. No. The Pearson code and the Alex code are two separate companies. They're two separate things. Okay, so it is not the Pearson code. No. Yes, that is correct. You will need to purchase the Alex code. Now, I believe if you're on financial aid, you can purchase an Alex code from the bookstore. I think so because I know other classes use Alex besides just math classes. So, or some places do, I think. So, maybe. But yeah. You just call the bookstore or at least go to the bookstore. You can buy it online, and that'll be fine. It's just a matter of the paperwork behind financial aid. So that's why if you have financial aid, I always say go to the book, talk to the bookstore, and then say, hey, can I purchase an Alex code with my financial aid? Because I know you could do it with the Pearson product. Like I think everybody knows it. Pretty much most people know that by now. But I'm not sure about Alex. You should be able to, considering it's also a viable product. So it's 50 bucks online, so a lot out of the pocket. Hey, 50 bucks. That's pretty expensive. I'm pretty cheap. Gotta be gotta understand. Hey, I gotta listen. Listen up, everybody. All right, look. If I'm gonna play a stereotype, all right, I'm gonna play a stereotype really well. I'm gonna be the cheapest man you've ever seen in your life. All right. I have learned from the best, and I will be the best. Yeah. The book of the code, you saw it was 81. Okay. If that was the Pearson code, but again, the Pearson code is not the Alex code. So if they have an Alex one, then yeah, that would be it. Yeah. So do understand. All right. Yeah, that's no, no. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So the bookstore always marks up for everything. All right. So the bookstore is always going to mark up, a lot. All right. So that's why it'll be 81 compared to the 50 you purchase online. Again, for financial aid, you have to go through the bookstore in order to get compensated. So that's why they can charge an arm and a leg. But if you don't have to, then okay. There's a financial aid code for 2 weeks free until you can buy it. Okay. So again, that's only a temporary code. So you want a permanent code once you get it if that's there. So okay. Here we go. Did I thought you know. Let's do that. No. Okay, that's fine. Okay. All right. Are there in Alex here? By the way, let's talk about Alex here. I'm gonna bring up Alex. Where are you, buddy? That's not what I wanted. Did I accidentally? Oh, there it is. Okay. So on Alex there, if you go to the assignments, I'll go ahead and click on assignments. This is just managing assignments and stuff for me. You click on the necessary assignment. There's topics for each part of the homework there. You can work through the topics here carefully, and then you can go ahead and just, again, check that out. So I'll hit edit, blah, 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 blah things. All right, so for example, I can put objectives here. Again, you'll have to want to pass these objectives, these topics here, in order for you to, you know, I don't know, pass those said topics there, and that would be part of your homework. Again, there's multiple parts of the homework here. All right, so I put Unit 1 and Unit 2 here together because that's going to be the first test here, and whatnot. So I'm just you pass the initial knowledge check. Okay, that's just kind of basic stuff here, and then Unit 1, Unit 2 here. Okay, and there you go. You got yourself a winner. Looks like you guys are figuring stuff out before me. So yes. Also, when I announced this test, I put this test tentatively on October 1st, but that may change obviously depending on how fast we go. So yeah, so if I set it for the 1st of October, all this homework here will be also due the 1st of October. Okay, and then it will close after that for units 1 and 2. So that's essentially how homework will go in terms of due dates. So that way you have as much time to review that material. All right, you have as much time as you need to review that material and cover those topics that you're having struggling with, and then be able to do, say, the first test there. And you'll also get, by the way, I don't know if I showed down here, you will get a practice test as well, so it gets you comfortable with the test and the formatting for the test and whatnot. So it'll be there for you. So you do the practice test before you do the actual test, and then you do the actual test, and then there you go, winner winner chicken dinner. Okay. Any other questions for Alex? All right. Good beans. All right. So hopefully I've made things clear so far about what the expectations are. So that's one thing that can be rather confusing. Okay. I know with online based homework it's going to be a bit of a pain in the butt, but hopefully we'll get through it together. Okay. The Alex part was not my idea, but I kind of had to roll with it. So um, all right. Now let's talk about the next part here. Again, if you want to know more information about Alex, they have Alex information here. They have a lot of different questions there, so you can go ahead and take a look at that. I think that's what was referenced earlier. So, okay, let's see here. What else do I want to talk about here? All right, that's pretty much that. Okay, great. All right, so that's pretty much what that's going to be. All righty. Okay. So what we're going to do here is what we're going to do here right now is that pretty much is just the introduction stuff out of the way. So now you have a good idea about how tests will be done and all that jazz. Okay, so you'll be set up and ready to go. Once we get closer to test time, by the way, I'm going to be talking to you about more instructions. If I gave you those instructions now, you'll probably forget it by the time the first test rolls around. So once we get closer to that, I'll have more instructions for you in regards to the exam. Alrighty. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're just going to answer these first 4 questions here from section 1.1. All right, and next time we'll do section 1.5 as that's a little bit more involved, of course, and you'll see how things kind of generically work out. Okay, it's not too bad. It's, I don't know, in my opinion, a little straightforward, but hey, you know what? One of the things that's important is fundamentals. Fundamentals and more fundamentals. Knowing fundamentals by far and away is the most important thing, probably, of how I like to teach classes. Because if you don't know the fundamentals, well, good luck trying to get something more advanced. All right, so All right, so let's look at question 1 here. Question 1 says, how do we plot points? All right, let's talk about plotting points. All right, first and foremost here. All right, to talk about points, we always know that points have two numbers in it, x and y. Okay, so x and y. I'll copy pasta this here. So it's always of the form x comma y. Really quick here, by the way, should I make that a bit bigger? For number 1, should I, or is that hard to read? Okay, let me, okay, I have like awful eyesight too, so, but, you know, like I said, it's not about me, so, my eyesight's pretty atrocious, so, I can prove my eyesight's really bad, so if I take off my glasses like this, right, like, like dead serious, I can only see the mic clearly, but I can't see anything else beyond that clearly. That's all I got for clear vision. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. All right, is it still blurry? I apologize if it's still blurry. I can zoom it in a little bit more. I'll probably just write this on the side then. Okay. Not for you. Okay. Let me make that a bit bigger. There we go. That should probably suffice to some degree. Hopefully. Okay. Yeah, my connection's fine. I don't see where it's blurry here. Maybe it is your connection there, but still, um, you can just again anything that's blurry, just you can rewatch it again because again the replay will be up here on Twitch, and then I'll be uploading it to YouTube after 24 hours. So I'm not sure what's going on with your connection on your end, but uh, yeah, I don't know. There's only one solution for it at this point, so there we go. That's your solution right there. All right, good stuff. Perfect. All right. Nice. Okay, so you know for a fact that there are various yep. You know that there are various points here, like 4 comma minus 2, or we could talk about let's go with yeah, just making up. I'm just making up points here. Negative 3 comma 7. All right, something like that. All right, so you could literally put any numbers you want in here, and that's all well and good. All right, so literally any number we could put in for x and any number we can put in for y. Now let's be careful about this. Even though this is a super simple topic, okay, and without question this is a super simple topic. One of the things that to make sure, just to kind of, again, a lot of this is to just shake out the cobwebs here. Um, what we can talk about here is what x and y are. Remember that x here specifically, um, the x-axis is going to be the horizontal axis. Okay, so the horizontal axis is the one, again, horizontal axis looks like this, okay? Just cutting straight across, just like so. All right. And the y-axis is going to be your vertical axis. So that's the one that kind of looks like that, kind of goes up and down. There you go. Okay. So now you're probably saying, yeah, I pretty much know that. I've worked with, maybe you worked with that for a while and you're like, yeah, that's super easy. You'd be like, oh yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you, Of course, it's pretty obvious that that's going to be true. But we're going to be referencing back to X and Y axis quite a bit in several different concepts here. Especially when it comes to, I want to say the last chapter will definitely refer to the axes very often. So again, keeping that in mind, even in the most basic of forms and the most basic of definitions, yeah, it still will play kind of like that super important role that we kind of have to visualize in our head. So it's helpful to kind of get it down now since it's applicable to a lot of things, but especially when we talk about conic sections at the end of the semester, it's definitely going to play a pretty big factor there. So just letting you know, that's definitely going to be a thing. Okay, so plotting points by itself is not too hard. If we plot points here, I'm gonna make that bigger. We'll go to, okay. If we plot points, here's a graphing calculator that I found online. All right, so what is the graphing calculator? I can just put in a point here. It'll be 5 comma -7. Sure, reasons that make no sense. All right, how does that make that smaller? That doesn't make sense. All right, thanks, bro. Okay. So 5 comma -7. Yes, good job, my brain. My brain, it's so amazing. All right. So if we take a look here at this again, we want to look at 5. So we want to look at 5 units here. Sorry. So here's 5. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right because it's positive 5. And then we go, because y is -7, you go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So here's 5 comma -7. Again, if x was negative, you go to the left. And if y was positive, you go up. Again, as you can see here, you have 4 quadrants. Again, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Again, it always goes counterclockwise, starting from the upper right. So we have quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. So again, something to keep in mind there in regards to where we're plotting our points. All right, that is equally as important. So I'm just going to make a reference to that. Okay. So remember that there are 4 quadrants starting from the upper right and going counterclockwise. Okay, this little factoid here is fairly important, especially if you're going to be going into trigonometry. So when you're going into trigonometry, knowing the 4 quadrants, and there is a rhyme and a reason why we start at the upper right hand corner as the first quadrant there. So if you haven't taken trigonometry yet, there is a reason. If you have taken it, then you probably already know the reason. Maybe it's been a while. Totally would understand that. No problemo. Okay. Questions about mapping points so far? Again, the big takeaway here is what the x and y axis are and how to plot a point. But I don't think that's too tough for most people, so that should be relatively straightforward. Okay. All right. so let's continue to move forward here. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about here is question number 2. Yes, this is section 1.1. That is correct. Yes. So if you want to mark that down on your notes until I put these notes up tomorrow, yeah, please feel free to do so. Okay, so the question says, how do we graph equations? Now this is an easy question, but we're going to do a lot with this question in many different topics. So what I'm going to present to you here is just the most basic way of graphing equations, because we're going to pretty much go to this well here a lot, all right? When I do examples here, you'll see me go to this well over and over and over and over again. Well, let me go ahead and showcase what exactly we're talking about here. All right, so first and foremost here, let's go ahead and start off with an example. All right, just a simple equation example. So let's go with my favorite one here. Y equals 3x minus 2. Okay, so something that's nice, clean, whole numbers here. Okay, easy peasy lemon squeezy. All right, and of course our goal here is to go ahead and graph this guy on a standard graphing sheet, or again, in our case, will be on the computer. Now, a couple of things that's important here regarding 3x minus 2, albeit it's very easy, okay? What we want to do is establish a basis of what that shape of that graph is going to look like. Now, what we know here is that 3x minus 2 is a line of some sort. But what exactly are the points on that line to basically establish that shape? That's what we're really after here. Because if we can't establish the points, then, pretty much you are connecting the dots and you have no idea how to connect them. So the key here in this case to what I'm going to do quite a bit in this class here, the key is to make an XY chart. Okay, that's going to be the key here in making these graphs. And so what's an XY chart look like? Well, you have X here on the right, and you have X here on the, yeah, look at that. I can't even tell left and right anymore. X here on the left and Y here on the right. All right, and all you have to do here is plug in a number. Okay, now the easiest number here to use is 0. Okay, 0 is the easiest of the easies. All right, you don't have to do any effort in plugging in 0 here. So really quick here, um, if we plug in 0 into this equation here, what do we get back out for y? Okay, good. That's correct. Minus 2. Absolutely right. All right, so you plug in 0 in for x, and you get back out minus 2. I will be adding a note to this, so you'll see exactly how things will go. But yeah, you plug in minus 2. Okay, good enough. Let's try another number. Let's try 1. All right, simple numbers here. Just trying to get easy numbers, easy answers. That's what we're after here. So if we plug in 1, what do we get back? All right, very reasonable. The answer is 1 here. 1 is absolutely correct. Yes, yes, that is correct, Morning. All right, now sometimes we need to go in the opposite direction, so we'll pick minus 1 as well. All right, so if we plug in minus 1, what do we get here? Minus 5, that's right. Negative 5 is absolutely spot on. Okay, so we have these minus 5 here for each. We have found minus 5 to go with minus 1. Again, we have minus 1 comma minus 5, 1 comma 1, and 0 comma minus 2. Those are 3 points that define the line here of y is equal to 3x minus 2. Now there is one more point that I'm going to stress here, and you don't see it right away. Now, all of you got these right, but this is a point that I want to stress very early on because it will play a huge factor for some of the concepts we're going to be seeing later on. Okay. Um, Let me go back here to the very first guy here, 0 comma minus 2. Now, getting these two numbers is not hard. Okay, plugged in 0, got minus 2, great. All right, but it's the work behind it that's actually going to be the key factor that I'm going to point out here. Essentially, what are we doing here? Well, in your mind, you're as I said before, we're literally plugging in 0 in for x. So we're putting in 3 times 0 and then minus 2. Okay, that's essentially what we're doing there to get minus 2. But one of the things that we need to stress on here is that we're substituting a number in for x. And so the takeaway from this, specifically the big takeaway here, and it's a rather big note here, is that you must always put parentheses around any number you substitute. Actually, anytime you substitute, I should say. This is really, really important. This is actually, surprisingly enough, as small of an important point as it is, this is the downfall of a lot of people when it comes to classes. Like they kind of skip the parentheses, and then they get the wrong sign, and then it kind of cascades down into a whole bad effect, and then you kind of feel bad that you wasted 10 minutes of your time because you didn't put parentheses around one thing that affected everything else. So you obviously don't want to fall for that trap, and that's why I put this up here very right away, because we're going to go to this well over and over and over again of always putting parentheses anytime we substitute with something else. Okay, that is always going to be true 100%. Okay, again, sign changes here. So again, I guess I'll add here very important for possible sign changes. Okay, so I guess I can kind of add that in there. That's definitely a thing. I think I think you guys would be hard pressed to disagree with that. In that case, I know this looks janky, but just kind of roll with me. Uh, all right, so like I said, it's those small little details sometimes, because we know that math is super inflexible. It's sometimes those small little details that make the biggest difference, right? We know that we all get hung up on that one thing in doing a problem. Even in a problem as simple as this, we get hung up on that one little thing, and then we get like, it just kind of blows up in our face because we're we kind of screwed up from the beginning. So want to make sure that we get every little nitpicky detail, so we can take the anxiety away. We can again go through it slow and methodical, and hopefully end up at the correct answer. Okay, now let's take this guy and let's go ahead and put in 3x minus 2 on a graph, and I'll go ahead and show it off here with this thing here. So let's go ahead and put this in. So y is equal to 3x minus 2. Okay, and let's take a look at some of the points here as we can see. So we can see a point here at, again, 0 comma minus 2. We see a point right there. All right, we also see a point here at, again, we had 1 comma 1. So 1 comma 1 here would be, I don't know why this scales so poorly. There we go. So there's 1 comma 1 right here. All right, so 1 comma 1. And we also looked at minus 1 comma minus 5. So minus 1 comma minus 5 is going to be right here. And so there you go. And then you just connect the dots with that line as you're going to draw out on your paper. So that's pretty much it. So we're going to talk more about graphing, of course. Okay, that's only just going to be natural, but at the very least, for right now, we're just kind of covering the basic part here. No problemo. Any questions about that so far? We'll do a couple more. Can we just assume the shape and the length of the line after only getting a couple points down? Um, well, the line is infinite, so the line is going to be infinite unless it says otherwise. Okay, so the length of the line is going to always be infinite. That's why this thing always juts out to infinities. Um, yeah, you could get a couple of points down and establish that line. However, the way for us to do that will be acknowledged here in the next two questions. So I think that's a fair question to ask, nonetheless. And so let me go ahead and answer that in slightly a bit more detail. All right. So let's go back to our handout here. All right, so the way we want to go ahead and say, if we want to graph a line using 2 points instead of 3, well, let's go ahead and see how we can do that here. It says, what are x-intercepts? Okay, so that's the first question here. What are x-intercepts? Well, first of all, let's talk about the base definition here. Okay, x-intercepts are points. Okay, say there are points. That's important to say. Actually, let me put that in bold. Are points in which the graph hits the x-axis. Uh, note, they are, actually I'll put that in bold too. They are always of the form x comma 0. Okay, so they're always of the form here x comma 0. That is an x-intercept. Okay, again, somewhere along that horizontal axis is where the x-intercept is going to be. So then, of course, begs the question, exactly how do we find the x-intercept? Okay, so let's talk about that here. So to find the x-intercept, let's go over the steps here. All right, so really quick here. So step 1, set y equal to 0. So you're going to set y is equal to 0, or replace y with equal to 0, whichever way you want to call it. Either way is fine. And then step 2, use methods to solve for x in the equation. Again, there could be many methods, as we're going to see here, because you could have an equation that's a quadratic equation, as we'll see here for next time. Again, we'll see exactly how we can attack those kind of problems here to solve for the x-intercepts in that case. So in our example, for y is equal to 3x minus 2, if we wanted to find out what the x-intercept is, so let's use our example here. So our example here, y is equal to 3x minus 2. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and set y is equal to 0. So I'm just going to replace this y with 0 and set that equal to 3x minus 2. Now all I'm going to do here is do a little bit of algebra. I know we're going to come back to the algebra stuff. Actually, let me write that on the, that looks a little small, to be honest. Let me do it this way. I'm going to do it this way, everybody. Let's put it on here, and then we can do that better easier. This is a lot easier to see. Okay, so if we want to solve for x here, so again, let's just kind of shake out the cobwebs a little bit. That's perfectly fine. So we're here to just review. How would we solve for x in an equation like this? Okay. Okay, that's correct. So let's add 2. Now, to kind of showcase how adding 2, normally I'd put, say, plus 2. Yeah, we want to get x on its own, right? Okay, add 2 divided by 3, right. So normally I put plus 2 down here if I had a whiteboard or, my handwriting's pretty bad, so I'm not going to subject you to my terrible handwriting. But what I will do is this represents adding 2 on both sides. Okay, so that's what this little guy here represents. So I have 0 plus 2. So then I basically have 2 is equal to 3x. And then correctly put here by Phantom, again, we'll divide by 3 on both sides. And so here we get our final result here, which is going to be our final result, which is going to be 2/3 is equal to x. Okay, so 2/3 is equal to x. So if this is the case, all right, so if this is the case, let's do this here. Okay, so this is all the work that we got here. Can anybody tell me what is the x-intercept then? Okay, very good. That is correct. Okay, so that answer here is 2/3 comma 0. All right, so I know that seems like it's like, wait, we just solved for that, so isn't it asinine to kind of ask that question? And I'd be like, in a way, yeah, but the reason why I actually point this out here for 2/3 comma 0 is because on the computer-based homework on Alex, it may ask you to put it in this form right here of 2/3 comma 0. So I'm not going to make assumptions that it just wants you to enter in 2/3. You may need to enter in 2/3 comma 0 to highlight that is indeed an x-intercept. So just pointing that out there here in this case, so that way, again, you're not caught unawares. Okay. And are there any questions about that so far? I hope I've been at a good, comfortable pace for you. So, I hope that the pace has been relatively comfortable for you guys. I like I said, I try and go a little bit slower, so it's easy to kind of keep up. So if I tend to go too fast, just make sure to stop me and tell me, hey, can you go back and can you go back and tell me what that was again or something like that. So if I'm going way too fast or something like that, then just let me know. So I do my best to try and make it as a comfortable pace as possible for you guys. So again, easier to understand that way. All right. Next is the y-intercept. So let's talk about the y-intercept. So what is a y-intercept? Okay. So a y-intercept this is the points on the graph. Oh, good. I'm happy to hear that. I'm glad it's a good speed. I always try and make sure that I'm not overwhelming you with like a huge information dump all at once. So maybe there are like maybe 1 or 2 cases that may have to be true, but I try and remove those as much as possible so it's not overwhelming. Um, all right, so the points on the graph that hit the y-axis. Okay, so all right, so the points that hit the y-axis here. All right, so let's put a little note here. I'm just trying to match it up with the other one there. So note here, all y-intercepts are of the form 0, comma y. So there are only 2 steps, yes. There are only 2 steps. You'll notice that I'll actually write out steps fairly often, so there may be 2 steps, there may be 4 steps, there may be 5 steps or whatever, 6 steps. I like to write out steps because it's a little easier to follow, um, at least in my opinion, but if you don't feel that that's the case, I can certainly just kind of do a generic example. But people kind of like the, hey, this is the first thing, hey, this is the second thing, hey, this is the third thing sort of deal. So, but if that isn't good, then I can try something else. I got no problem with that. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. So all y-intercepts are of the form 0 comma y. So basically, this one's here. So to find the y-intercept or intercepts, um, typically there's only one, but well, sometimes you can get multiple of them. Uh, so for the y-intercept here, what you're going to do is you're going to set x is equal to 0. So, oops, I need to put step 1 there. Sorry. All right. Set x is equal to 0. So all you're going to do is just replace x with 0. And then step 2, use any method to solve for y in the equation. All right. So that's, again, fairly straightforward there. So let me separate that. All right. So in our case here, we went ahead and already did that, but just to kind of highlight what that actually means. All right, so let's go back to our guy right here. Again, if we want to show out the work, we have y is equal to 3x minus 2. That's what we started off with. So now all we're going to do here is replace the x with a 0. So y equals 3 times 0. Again, notice I'm putting that in parentheses, minus 2. So y is equal to 0 minus 2. So y is equal to minus 2. Okay. I know I'm kind of running out of time here, so I duly apologize. So, okay, and so our final result here, our y-intercept here, our y-intercept here in this particular case is going to be 0 comma minus 2. Okay, so and then we would put that on the graph. And again, if you find your, so let's go ahead and put here. This is only applicable for lines, by the way. You can graph a line with only a line. You can graph a line, not anything else. You can graph a line with 2 points if they are the x and y intercept. Okay, so there's only one x-intercept, one y-intercept for a line, so you can know the shape and direction of the line. You know, kind of going, you know, the shape of that line and the, you know, direction of that line. With just 2 points by finding just the x and y intercepts. So a nice little shortcut if it's possible. Sometimes it can be a little bit ugly, like 2/3 comma 0 is not very nice to put on a graph, so maybe that's not the best idea in all circumstances, because 2/3 is just, it's just really hard to work with, really hard to put on a graph in general. So we try and avoid that as much as possible. But yeah, if you could, then you want to put both of those down, and then you'd get your line for that. So that's another way to kind of look at things. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that later. All right. So okay, are there any questions about section 1.1? I may end up doing another example or so for next time, just to talk about just some little itty bitty details, and we move on to section 1.5. No? Okay. Very good. All right. So what I'm going to do here is we're out of time here for today, so I'm going to end off here for today. We're going to resume here at question 5 for was what are the quadratic equation. Like I said, I'll be posting these up tomorrow, okay, on D2L, so you'll have access to these sheets. These will be empty, by the way. They'll just be empty, so I'm not going to be saving this, obviously. Hopefully you have that in your notes, or you can reference back to this replay tomorrow on Twitch. It'll be up for 14 days on Twitch. And then or on YouTube after 24 hours. It'll be posted on YouTube for more permanent home. How do we access section 1-1 through Alex? That you just hit Unit 1. Just click on Unit 1, and then it'll take you to topics related to section 1-1. So that's pretty much how Alex works. So what should you be doing next? Okay, so that's a fair question. Let me go back here. So, oh my gosh, that's so annoying. It's like the fourth time. Oh my gosh. All right. Okay. So what you should be doing next here is that we went over section 1-1. All right. You should go to your course. Okay. And you should see again. The first thing that you should see here is, and I'll go to manage assignments here. The first thing that you should see is this initial knowledge check. So make sure you do that, and then once you're done with the initial knowledge check, you'll be able to do the homework unit 1. And homework unit 1 is just basically 1-1 and 1-5 together. Just be sure to save your progress there if it's a little bit much. So just to let you know, they'll throw you a bunch of kind of different questions there. So the completed notes will be filled out and the whole stream will be posted to YouTube. So the completed notes will fill out little by little. I'm not going to be posting out the completed notes. That will be, you can watch the video and then, fill them out based on what I put there. I'll be giving you the blank handouts on D2L. And this whole stream today will be posted on YouTube in 24 hours from the end of this stream. I hope that makes that. I hope that makes it clear, Alyssa. I hope that sounds okay. Okay. Are there any other questions here? I hope I've cleared up as much as I can. So I know with something new, it's always kind of like, oh, shiny car. What does this button do? So um, no. I'm here to help as much as I can. Okay, so we're just gonna. Do you have only one attempt for homework? No, I don't believe so. I'm gonna check that again. So if that happens to be the case, then I'll definitely just change that for whatever. But I think you just kind of adapts as you. Excuse me. Alex is more adaptive than it is kind of a more adaptive system that tests you on topics. So. More on the completion grade. Basically, completion grade is what you get correct. So that's basically it. Any other questions? All right. So if there are no more questions here for today, we are going to end off the stream here for today. All right. Um, okay, everybody. Thank you very much for coming out for this first stream. So next time on Thursday, we're going to be covering, maybe doing one more example from 1.1 and then going into 1.5 and maybe a little bit beyond that. All right. Thank you all again. I will see you all on Thursday. Take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful night. All right. And we will see you all later. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye.